Okay, let's imagine this. Your car breaks down. You absolutely need it. The mechanic says $900 for repairs, rent due next week, and your savings gone, wiped out. What do you do for cash? Like right now. Today, we're diving deep into exactly that kind of scenario through Jessica's story. She needed $900 fast, like in 24 hours. And the surprising part, she actually found a way through it without all the usual stress.
And that's really the core of it, isn't it? Jessica's situation, well, it's something so many people face, that sudden, unexpected financial hit. Most of us have been there, or frankly, probably will be at some point. The real problem is finding cash quickly, sure, but finding a solution that doesn't just dig you into a deeper hole long term. That's why understanding how she did it, finding a, let's say, sustainable fix is just so important for anyone listening.
Right. That pressure, the psychological weight you mentioned, it's huge. It really highlights why just knowing you have a problem isn't enough. You need like actual steps, a path forward. And that's exactly what we want to unpack today with Jessica's experience. Our mission here is to look closely at how she navigated this, the specific action she took, and importantly, what you can take away if you ever find yourself needing quick cash in a pinch. Think of it as a shortcut to knowing your options. Okay, so let's set the scene. Jessica's just driving to work, normal day, and then bam, car trouble. Not just a little noise, we're talking smoke, warning lights, the whole deal. She manages to get it to a mechanic, and then comes the news. That $900 repair bill. Like a punch to the gut, she said. And the timing couldn't be worse, really. Rent was due the very next week. And her savings. She told us they were basically wiped out. So, yeah, she needed cash, and she needed it, like, yesterday.
Oh, absolutely. That immediate, intense pressure. Needing cash now, it's almost visceral, isn't it? It's that moment you realize just how quickly things can wobble. Your car breaks down, maybe a pipe bursts at home, an unexpected medical bill. Suddenly that $900 isn't just a number. It's potentially lost income if you can't get to work. It's a whole cascade of problems waiting to happen. It's often when people have that stark realization about emergency funds,
Yeah.
that they aren't just nice to have, they're crucial.
Definitely. So with that kind of intense pressure you just laid out, where do people usually turn first? I mean, in that kind of crisis. And how did Jessica's approach, what she did first, sort of differ from that typical path?
Well, the typical routes are often credit cards, maybe asking family or friends, which can be difficult, or trying for a small loan from a traditional bank. But we know that can take days, sometimes even weeks, right? Which she didn't have. Jessica, though, she remembered something else. A friend had mentioned this online place, 15mfinance.org. Apparently, it was specifically for helping people get quick emergency cash. Now, she was skeptical. I think most of us would be initially hearing about fast online cash. But, sometimes desperation pushes you to explore things you normally wouldn't.
Okay, so she takes the plunge, despite the skepticism. And what happened next? The source says it was, well, pretty quick. She applied, probably expecting a long wait, forms, hoops to jump through, but no. Within minutes, she got approved for the full $900. How significant is that kind of speed, that rapid approval in a situation like hers?
It's incredibly significant. The insight here isn't just about the convenience of speed. It's about tackling that decision paralysis, that huge psychological burden that comes with a financial crisis. Think about it. Traditional processes with all the paperwork and waiting, they just amplify stress. They can push people towards making, well, maybe desperate or not fully thought through choices. Getting a rapid approval, even if it's just the initial green light, it's like a psychological lifeline. It frees up mental energy. You can shift from panic mode to actually solving the problem. It's really a big shift in how emergency financial help can work. It changes the game for how people can respond when things go wrong unexpectedly.
Wow, okay. So speed is clearly a massive factor here. But how did that quick approval actually turn into money she could use? What were the actual steps she took? What can we learn about how these kinds of online solutions actually, function?
Well, the source lays out a pretty simple three-step process she went through. First step, she went to the website, 15mfinance.org, and filled out what they call a 2-minute application. Just 2 minutes. And that 2-minute application, that's not just about saving time. It signals a fundamental shift, really. It points towards hyper-efficient data use, automation in the background, traditional applications. They're built for deep, slow checks. A 2-minute form suggests minimal friction, probably just the absolute essentials, personal info, maybe income basics, and then, crucially, near-instant automated decision-making. That efficiency is key for emergencies. It lets the system quickly try to match you with a lender from their network almost in real time.
Okay, fascinating. So super quick application. Then step 2 was getting matched with a lender. And here's something the source really stressed. This matching could happen even with bad credit. How does that work?
Right, and that's key. It points towards alternative ways of looking at risk. Traditional banks lean heavily on standard credit scores, like FICO, but many of these online platforms use algorithms that look at a wider picture. Things like maybe how stable your income is, your recent banking activity, perhaps even how long you've been employed. They're trying to gauge your ability to repay based on different factors. Now, the important thing for listeners to grasp is the trade-off, right? While this opens doors for more people, the terms you get offered, especially interest rates, might reflect that different risk assessment. It needs careful consideration.
Makes sense. It's about understanding what you're signing up for. And then the final step, step 3, was getting the cash. The source says potentially as soon as the next business day. And it really emphasizes the ease, saying things like no shady stuff, no endless paperwork, just real help when you need it most.
Yeah, what that really points to is the accessibility and, again, the efficiency of this kind of model. When you compare it to the hoops you might jump through for a traditional loan gathering documents, waiting, maybe multiple appointments, this promises speed and simplicity. These quick emergency loan services, they're designed to fill a specific niche. Rapid response for immediate needs, and often for people who might not qualify through older channels.
So she went through these steps. What was the actual outcome for Jessica? Did it work? The good news is yes. Her car was fixed the very next day. She got back on the road, back to work, everything sorted on that front. And crucially, what about paying it back? The source says she paid it back in small, manageable chunks. It's Ira. And it claims she avoided the debt trap. Now, that term gets thrown around a lot. Can you break down what that debt trap actually is? And how does a solution offering manageable chunks supposedly help someone avoid it?
That's a really critical point. The debt trap, or sometimes called a debt spiral, basically happens when you start borrowing money just to pay off other money you owe. Often these are high interest loans, so the amount you owe grows faster than you can possibly pay it down. You're just digging the hole deeper. It's a huge risk with some types of quick cash solutions, unfortunately. So when the source mentions small, manageable chunks, the insight is that a genuinely helpful solution has to factor in your actual ability to repay. It's not just about handing over cash fast, it's about structuring the repayment realistically. It shifts the goal from just immediate relief to, ideally, a sustainable path to getting back on your feet financially.
You could feel the relief in how she described it. She used phrases like no stress, no debt trap. She even called the whole thing a lifesaver.
And that specific outcome, her relief, it really connects to the bigger idea of financial resilience, doesn't it?
Right.
Think about the alternative. If she hadn't fixed the car quickly, could she have lost her job? Then what? Missed rent, bills piling up, a small problem explodes into a huge crisis. So a timely, manageable solution for that initial $900 emergency basically acted as a circuit breaker. It prevented that larger catastrophe. It really raises an important question about the role these kinds of accessible, quick financial services can play in just helping people maintain stability, preventing small bumps from turning into financial landslides.
So bringing it all together, what's the main takeaway here for you, the listener?
Well, Jessica's experience, as we've heard it from the source, seems to show that financial emergencies, they don't necessarily have to completely derail your life. There are options out there, like this one she found, designed to help navigate those sudden hits. Absolutely. And maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. Beyond just knowing about one specific website like 15mfinance.org, what does Jessica's story tell us more broadly? Perhaps it's about the value of exploring and understanding your options before you're actually in crisis mode. It encourages a bit of proactive thinking, some personal research, because ultimately that knowledge, knowing what's out there, how different solutions work, what the potential trade-offs are, that knowledge itself is maybe your best tool for being prepared, for feeling empowered when the unexpected inevitably happens.